Welcome back to Lakeside News. We're at Loretto City Hall and we're joined by Kent Koch, the mayor of Loretto. Kent, thank you so much for joining us here on Lakeside News.
Thanks for having me.
Now the first question has to be, a year ago we came out and did a feature on you, as well as several national media outlets all over the country. First question has to be, looking back on that time after you were newly elected, I know you had said that it was a little overwhelming. Looking back on it now, fond memories, or do you feel like it had some issues in regards to the job at hand here at Loretto in terms of creating some challenges for you?
I would say very fond memories. I think the old cliche, you know, time flies when you're having fun. I can't even believe that I already made it through a year and working on the second year and going forward, and definitely had a lot of good experiences throughout. And I think the best part about the position, just meeting all different kinds of people, and even mayors and city council members and just even townspeople, and that's kind of been the best experiences, just all the new people that I've gotten to meet along the way.
I'm sure coming in last year you probably had to have a few concerns of, are they going to think I'm a little bit too young for this job? Not to say that that turned out to be the case, but talk about people with different backgrounds coming together and dealing with situations like that in terms of how you would work together. Talk about that process over the last year.
Okay, yeah, definitely coming into it, I knew, you know, coming in, the young kid, had everyone on the council had 20 years on me at least, and so I knew coming in I was going to have to gain their respect right away, and basically started out just writing out a letter beforehand and saying, all right, here's the deal, here's how it's going to run, I'm the chairman of the board, here's what I want to see, come prepared for meetings, you know, be able to communicate effectively, you know, also taking into account the open meeting law, you know, just kind of giving them a heads up on that, and you know, just trying to be as prepared as I could. And throughout the first couple of months, I felt like everything ran really smooth. And the nice part about Loretto, you don't usually have that many huge issues come up. It's usually fairly quiet. But when they have come up, we've been able to take care of them, and just pretty much kind of, you know, being able to do our job and say that, you know, we're bettering the city. And actually, a couple of the council members did come up to me after a few months later, and they pretty much admitted that, you know, we didn't think you had a chance. We didn't have much respect for you coming into it. So that was kind of nice to hear them at least, you know, give the gratitude that,
right.
You know, just
yeah. Well, it was nice to hear it then, right? You wouldn't want to hear the stuff at the beginning, right?
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
Right.
So
Right.
Yeah, that was a little you know, a little bit of a relief, and it just, you know, just been continuing on from there. And I like to attend the Northwest League of Minnesota Municipalities, and that's a really good local organization that it's town members from, could be city council, could be mayors, and basically just get together once a month and talk about your city and talk about issues, because the nice thing about being able to communicate with local communities is that sometimes they're dealing with the same issues we are, and they might have dealt with them in the past, and you can get good advice from a lot of those people along the way.
Sure. What would you say was the thing you learned most, especially in terms of what surprised you? My guess is, you know, you were a resident, you grew up here, you knew the area, right? But what was it, looking back on it now, that most surprised you, either in terms of how it worked, you know, being mayor of a city, or working with other people, or something maybe you didn't know about the city itself?
I would say, as far as what I maybe didn't know coming into it, or wasn't, you know, as brushed up on the background, I would say definitely the sewer and water system and the stormwater, you know, regulations and all that. And we basically have had, you know, at every council meeting, you know, something or another comes up with those issues, and it's definitely been a learning experience through that as well. But again, too, I mean, I've grown up and lived in the town my whole life, like you said, 24 years now, and, you know, there's still things that come up that it's like, oh, I guess I didn't really know that's how it was, or that's how it worked back then. So that's definitely, you know, the fun and ongoing learning that's really came through with this position.
Now, when you were elected, you were still a student as well as the mayor of the city. Just looking back on that, were there some challenges in that, or was it something where to have that other outlet was a good thing? Tell me a little bit about that process and how you balanced that.
Yeah, definitely. That whole situation was pretty unique because I actually only had 3 credits to finish up at St. Cloud State for my finance degree. So honestly, I would say the schooling was the easiest part of it.
Sure.
I think the most challenging was definitely the baseball schedule. We were traveling we went down to Missouri, Illinois, we were all over the country. So again, it just came down early on where I had to communicate with Clark Lohr, our acting mayor, and just let him know, okay, I'm gonna be out of town these dates, and if something comes up, you gotta take over. And the nice part was I only missed one meeting throughout that whole situation, and now able to talk about it and look back on it, and really was a really fun experience.
Obviously, this was a 2-year term, so you'll be up at the end of this year. Is that correct?
Yes.
I guess the question has to be is, have you decided, are you going to run again for re-election?
I think if I had to decide today, as long as my parents don't kick me out of the basement, I will be up for re-election. But again, only time will tell. It depends when, in August or whenever the filing period comes up, and see. But obviously, just based on experiences and all that, it's definitely a fun position, and look forward to continuing to serve the community of Loretto.
Okay, and then the second part is that if you do indeed run for re-election, a question could be, what do you see as the future of Loretto in terms of where the city's going to be in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? Forward thinking, how do you view the city of Loretto and what it has to look forward to?
Yeah, forward thinking. I mean, the thing about it is, Loretto is kind of an older city, and we do have some infrastructure that needs to continually be maintained. And it's all based on financial implications, and there's some things coming down the pipeline that we're going to have to look into and spend some time on. And one of the exciting things too is we have a redevelopment committee that's working on some redevelopment off of County Road 19. And so it would be nice, it's probably, maybe still probably 5 years out, but it would be nice to kind of see that whole process come through and, just continue to enhance Loretto.
Okay, they know you're a baseball star as well. Is there something else that our viewers or citizens of Loretto might not know about you that would be kind of interesting for them to find out?
Probably now that I graduated, I'm a financial analyst at United Healthcare in Minnetonka, and I work in the Medicare and Retirement Division. And so that is my full-time job, and the mayor's my part-time job. But it's been a challenge to kind of battle both, but it's been really good throughout.
Well, good. And I think it's safe to say then that chances are you won't be living in your parents' basement for much longer, right?
Right.
Okay, great. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us here today, Kent.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we'll be back to Lakeside News in just a moment.